So I'm here with a brand new request. Someone requested to see Ursula. If you guys can believe it, it's a Disney character. It's our first ever Disney character that got mentioned for requests for this little series that I came up with. And Ursula is from The Little Mermaid. If you guys don't know, and I don't know if there's any Disney fans out there who play this game. You might be more of a Nickelodeon fan than an actual Disney fan. But I guess it goes hand in hand. It's different for everybody. And maybe you haven't heard of The Little Mermaid. Maybe you know of it, but you never watched the movie. And I picked this stage and I selected Danny Phantom because he has a little bit, I guess, maybe a little bit of his moves and certain moves that she could play like. But this stage is perfect because it's raining, it's on water. It could be something similar to how they could probably implement her if they can get a Disney license. And when you get any sort of Disney collaboration, it's a big door. You're opening a giant door, and for even certain games like Super Smash Bros., Sora must have been really tough to get and implement, even as the last DLC character. But what would you guys think for Ursula being in this game, a Disney character, or maybe any sort of Disney collab? I think this can open all sorts of collaborations, different characters that could be cool to add it into Nickelodeon. But I don't know, seems like everybody's making their own separate game. It could have a Disney Smash Bros game, Disney All-Stars. But we're going to talk about Ursula for our character ideas that we came up with and for this particular request here. And just as I said, Disney is a big door. It's not easy to really try to get access to certain characters, to even try to get them added into a game, to access them and be able to play as them. And even some of the worlds, even the music and everything like that, just getting the license and the rights themselves is going to be a tough task. But anything is possible. But let's talk about Ursula, the Sea Witch from Atlantica. And she will always cause so much trouble for Ariel. I might get smacked by a little bit of tombstone. That was just close. But even if it does, it'll happen throughout the video. And I'll be moving a little bit too later on when I start getting to her moves. But let's talk about the stages. Atlantica is the major setting for this particular character, and where The Little Mermaid took place. Everything went down there in Atlantica. And if they were designing like a stage, they could have like Flounder, some characters from the show, well, from the movie. They could have, see how that bat is up there flying above on the left side? They could have like Flounder swimming around, and Sebastian, and maybe some other characters in the background to be lurking and watching the fight, just to design the stage. See how it's raining? They can have a little bit of water in the background. But let's talk about these other stages I came up with. So Atlantica being the setting, they could probably do something like that and see how it's on this particular grounding. They could just have a little bit of water in the background and be able to have the player. Something that comes to mind is, what was it called? It was called the Great Sea. It was a Super Smash Bros. Melee stage. If you guys played it, if you know what I'm talking about, it could play something like that. So you have different parts of the land that you can land on, but you can be in the water. You'll stay afloat for a few seconds, and then if you stay in the water too long, you'll drown. Your particular fighter will slowly start to drown, and you won't be able to get out. So it could be something designed like that if it was Atlantica, for example. But I came up with some other places that were located in this particular setting from the movie. And being someone who played all the Kingdom Hearts games, I can imagine how they can play in these other different particular locations. So outside of Atlantica, they can just have it, they can expand and go inside of Triton's palace. King Triton is Ariel's dad and her father in the movie. So Ursula was always after that Triton and trying to take control of it, so she could take over the seeds and be able to dominate and do whatever she wants to take control. So I thought a good little location for this would be Triton's Palace. And then another place that I recognized from being a part of in Kingdom Hearts, the first game, you got a chance to go inside of Ariel's grotto. It was her secret place where she would taunt, I guess she would share her secrets, all the different things that she was thinking about, her plans and contemplating of what she wanted to do. and she didn't have the best. She had everything. She wasn't really all that close to King Triton herself, so she sometimes would run away there. So Ariel's Grotto would probably be fitting. And then just one more stage, since we're talking about Ursula, of course, why not Ursula's Lair, where she does all her devious planning and her gives orders to the eels. I forgot their names, but I have a little idea for them too as well. I'm going to get into that, but it was where she was trying to brainwash Ariel to make her think that she can grant every wish that she so desires, to trick her. See what I'm saying? So Ursula's Lair will probably be I think that'll be more ideal in comparison to the other places, but there's still a good fit. King Triton's Palace, because it's part of the license, it's part of the movie. King Triton's Palace, Ariel's Grotto could be a particular fighting spot, but I don't know if these fighters could be able to swim underwater fighting. So it'll probably slow the jumping down, the jumping momentum. So that'll probably be something. But I think you could play something like this. It can be rainy. It could be another rainy stage and just have the water in the background like this. Just flood it up and jump into the water and jump right out. Just something like the Great Sea from the Super Smash Bros. Melee. It was a Zelda stage. But those are the stage ideas that I came up with. Curious to see what you guys think. Well, now, an alternate costume, it's only one that I can really come up with that references the movie. And see how notice I mentioned King Triton, and her sole focus on trying to get the crown and just be able to, well, the Triton itself, and dominate the seas. She wanted to get his crown. So Ursula wearing King Triton's crown could be like a paid DLC sort of alternate costume. See how some of these characters in this game have just hats and stuff? They can just slip in the crown or King Triton's crown and put it on Ursula as an alternate costume. That'd be something cool that I would really like to see. So that was the only little alternate skin. I mean, unless they make her blue or something like that. Blue skin, just for the fun of it. But it wouldn't reference anything from the movie. The King Triton's crown I think is the best idea for an alternate costume for her. So that little taunt, she can have that wicked laugh that when her plan's going through and everything's going well, ha 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 ha, something like that. It can be something like that for some kind of potential taunt. It'll be fun to do and just spam, just press it over and over, just laugh, ha 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 ha, and just laughing at the opponent, teasing them and all that. I think it's one of the best villain laughs of all Disney movies. One of the best Disney villain laughs. I think Ursula has one of the best ones. So it'd be iconic to implement that into the game. But now we're going to start talking about the moveset ideas that I came up with to wrap up. Now, just going back to the Triton, Ursula can permanently have her hands, and they can make it seem like in like a showcase video. See how they showcase some of the characters that come out. Ursula is finally able to gain access and get her hands on King Triton's, King Triton's, or get access to the Triton itself and permanently use it as a possession in the game, so she can fight with it and do regular combos with it. So regular hits, she'd be swinging the Triton. It'll be pretty cool. So she can do like a stabbing motion for her little Triton. So one of us might get hit by a tombstone, we'll see. But that could be some kind of little idea just to get started for the moveset. But Ursula was known for her magic. It's not just the offense, it's just swinging the Triton around. That could be utilized for some regular attacks. But Ursula is known as using her magic attacks. So she could be someone who focuses on magic attacks, magic-based attacks, to take down the opponent and do some serious damage. So what I came up with, she could be capable of all sorts of magic spells for offense, and I'm going to share some of those little spells in my moveset ideas for this video. So something like the Whirlpool. So she'll be able to summon Whirlpool since it's like SOB will be like a water-based magic spell. See how Danny can shoot these? That's why I'm using him for this video. He can shoot these. So maybe she can do it in midair to cast. It'll probably take some time. And maybe you can charge it a little bit. So you can do like small whirlpools and the regular blast. I'm pressing just the triangle button to shoot. Something like she can cast with her her trident. It'll be something cool that you can do. And the longer you charge it up, she can probably be able to create a bigger whirlpool that'll shorten the window for you to dodge. So you'll definitely have to jump, or maybe you might have to be forced to use your recovery move to be able to get over that giant whirlpool that's going to take over the stage. So it maybe the longer you charge it, the bigger it can be. So you can go like small ones. Let's see, like this one, a little blast like that. It'd be a small whirlpool that the player can create and shoot at the opponent. Small, medium, and then a giant whirlpool. That'll be cool. So you probably won't want to let your partner, the opponent, that'll get back and get some separation to charge up that Triton and start casting for a bigger whirlpool effect for some offense. I think that'll be cool for a little magic attack. But let's get into some other techniques. It's just part of her evil magic of the trident that she has that they can add for have her fight with. How about some lightning bolts? Because when I played Kingdom Hearts, she was able to summon like giant balls of lightning around her to shield herself with. But maybe she can raise her Triton in the air for long range attacks that can summon like a good amount of lightning bolts of lightning to strike the opponent. And maybe she can probably use it as some kind of defense. It could be used as a range attack, somebody that's on the other side of the map and that you could try to cast, or if you can use it as a little bit of a defense, a defensive shield. Like it could be like a lightning bolt shield or something like that she can use to raise her Triton. And with this particular move, it makes me think of Toph. See, with the clay warrior that she can summon, it goes, I wish she was in the game, but I don't want to change characters right now. But once you hold it down, the clay warrior is traveling under the ground and getting to the other side of the map that you can strike with. So maybe she can do something like that with her lightning bolts. When she raises her Triton in the air, it could be something like that, even if it's not like a lightning shield that she can use as a defensive sort of spell. So some of the stronger attacks, just like I mentioned, she's fighting with the Trident that she got her hands on from King Triton himself. She can be able to do a series of attacks with the Trident. So maybe she can also do some like a strong swing with it. She'll knock you back and it'll launch you. But see how Danny does this move? I don't want to launch him. It's like a move that you would do underwater, don't you think? Don't you think? Look, it's like a somersault. She can do that with her tentacles, an aerial attack, something similar to how Danny Phantom does this move. I don't even know the move of this. I forgot the name of it. But it could be something like that. It's similar to a move that you would do underwater. So she can do that with her tentacles if she's not really swinging the Trident. The Trident could be an aerial attack like that, and then she can do like a little underwater somersault, a water salt, something like that, just to for some little aerial strong attacks, just to talk about. Another particular projectile that can count if she's not charging whirlpools or something like that. I'm assuming it's SpongeBob how you can shoot bubbles. She can do bubble attacks. She did bubble attacks in the Kingdom Hearts game. So that would be something that she could do. She would shoot a couple bubbles from her mouth. That could be a little bit slow. That could be something too. So she could specialize in magic and projectiles for the most part. She could shoot bubbles from her mouth, and then I came up with one more particular moveset for her, or some particular technique. How about a tentacle move that can reflect projectiles? Now, maybe she don't almost sound like she's a little bit overpowered. A lightning shield, and then the ability to a spinning tentacle move that can reflect projectiles right back at her enemies. It could be something like that. But see how I did this? she could just, it could be a neutral spinning. It could be a neutral move that the player can do every now and then. So if Danny was to shoot this, if it's properly timed by Ursula, she can knock it right back. Knock it right back at him. And it'll make that sword noise, that shield, the sword noise when you block in this game, when you block a projectile. So that could be something that she could do. And if it's not a spinning, if it's not a move that can reflect projectiles, it could just be a strong attack when she's on the ground. Spin her body and hit you and launch you. And it could be a running move. It could be a running strong. See how he's, let's wait for this to move. See how he's running like this? He charges at her. It could be like a running spinning tentacle move, something like that. Now, for her recovery, it could be something similar to that too. It also can, because it was a move that she did. She would constantly rotate in a circle and spin around. They do like a spinning twist to try to get back into the stage. Some kind of spinning, rotating twist, or maybe she can do like a spell from the trident and shoot it from down below. It's like a Triton Blast to get back in, a Triton recovery move, something like that. Or maybe she can fly for a little bit while she's holding the trident in one hand. She can fly. That'd be cool for a little recovery. Just right off the top of my head. But that's all I really have for her moves and ideas for Ursula. I don't know what you guys think, but I think she's going to be dangerous in this game. She could be one of the most dangerous characters. As evil as she is, she can specialize in magic and projectiles, a good variety. And just, I think a good move is just the spells that I mentioned. I think I can really see her using that trident to get her way and be able to dominate the opponent. And if you want to play, try to get away from your opponent, try to charge up with the Whirlpool, summon those little projectile attacks, and be able to take advantage of your opponent. But just like I said, this is a Disney character, so it's probably not as likely to happen for this game, but it's still an idea. It's a possibility, you know, going forward, and maybe in the, you know, and for the year, as the year goes on. Not saying it's gonna be this year, but just like maybe in the future it'll probably happen. But I think Ursula will probably be a really good character for this game. And just being someone who's the first Disney request, I'm curious to see what you guys think. There's some other Disney characters you guys would like to mention for character ideas that you guys want to see. But Ursula is definitely a good pick.